I think we're going to have a fun show today. I was just talking on the phone with my friend John Carlson here. John owns Ross's Sport Shop in Phillips, Wisconsin. He's also known as one of Wisconsin's premier guides for the northern part of the state. John, normally you're fishing muskies this time of year.
Right.
You know, it's mid-November, but we've got kind of a warm spell, so we both decided we'd spend a day on the water. We don't get much chance to do it during the year. And for me personally, I love going to different northern Wisconsin lakes. I'm on the road all the time, and it's nice fishing sometimes, you know, pretty close to your home. We just thought we'd go out and do some walleye fishing, and a lot of people don't know that he's a darn good walleye fisherman. He knows these lakes like the back of his hand. And
usually you think of fall fishing, walleye fishing in the Price County area as going after them with suckers or you know, walleye suckers or fatheads and jigs and live bait, slip bobbers and stuff like that. But you know, we have some pretty cool lakes in our area, in the Price County area, kind of between Minocqua and Hayward. We're stuck right there, and we have some new limits that are really protecting the fish, and I think we're seeing the results of it after a couple of years. We're going to go after them a little different today, though. We're not going to do the standard jig and minnow or slip bobber thing. We're going to go after them with a different twist, and hopefully you can learn something that will get you the next bite.
Just looking for the next bite, next bite, next bite, next bite. Just looking for the next bite.
Northern Wisconsin is not known for giant walleyes, but some recent changes to regulations in many northern lakes has made a large impact on the fish size and health. With mild weather in November, there isn't a better time to target walleyes that are bulking up for the winter ahead.
it's a pretty decent fish.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a nice fish.
Nice.
These are healthy
Oh, they're really
fish.
heavy fish.
You know, a lot of the places in northern Wisconsin, a lot of the lakes, these fish are small and thin. Even in the fall, when they bulk up, they don't get like this.
Right.
You know, this is a super healthy fish.
And they don't have super big heads on them either for the size of the
No,
fish. So
no,
they're
I would
younger
guess they're
fish.
not even that old.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, buddy, I'm gonna let you go.
Providing a larger and healthier fish population is the goal, and it seems to be working well. That's why Gary and John have decided to ditch muskie fishing during prime time and target walleyes in fisheries that in recent years have just gotten better.
Today we're fishing in the basin area of the lake. A lot of our lakes here in the Price County area are actually flowages, and they're dammed up rivers and streams. And the old river channels and stream channels make the basin areas of the lake. A lot of the fish use that structure this time of the year. There's some steeper drops and some deeper water, anywhere from 35 foot, you can be up to 10 foot. Those fish will drop down into that deeper water, in that 35 foot of water, and use it, or they could slide up that steeper edge into that shallower 10 to 15 foot of water at any given time, depending on light conditions and weather conditions.
Okay, how's it look?
Feels like a little nicer one.
Big. That's a really good fish.
Oh yeah, it's a nice one.
All the things you got to put up with me, huh? Oh, got him.
All right.
That's enough. Wow. Look how big that fish is.
Yeah, they're just,
You know, they're not
healthy.
super long, but they are so fat.
They're really fat.
I'm not used to seeing that in the northern Wisconsin fishing ground.
All right.
Wow.
Well, and he ate that bait too. Look at that.
Sure did.
Got my pliers.
Yeah. It's fun. You know, we're not fighting anything here. Water's fairly calm, a little breeze every now and then, but it's just pretty easy fishing.
It's very easy.
Just an absolute blast.
Perfect conditions for it.
Well, why don't you explain a little bit about that slot?
Well, the DNR put a protective slot on the fish. The minimum size limit that you can keep on most of our Price County waters is 15 inches. And then from 20 to 24 inches, you have to throw back, you have to release. So in the past, we had a 1 fish over 14-inch limit with no small size, so you could keep all undersized, all under 14-inch fish. And
yeah.
Now they're protecting those smaller fish, and we're starting to see some fish like this now.
Yeah, the other one didn't work.
No, it did not work. It was good for numbers, but it wasn't good for
This is a
quality of
much
fish.
better situation.
Yep, and this is only 2 years into this, and we're starting to see some fish like
Wow.
this.
That's awesome.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine, Go Boldly, Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant, Putting Equipment First, Nitro Boats, Performance Fishing Boats, Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley, your fish, our science. And Power Pole, Total Boat Control. Closed captioning for the next bite is provided by Whitewater, built to brave the waves. Gary is a huge fan of casting blade baits because it's very similar to pitching jigs without having to worry about live bait or plastics. During the fall in northern Wisconsin, it's more common for anglers to be using slip bobbers with live bait, but using blade baits can get you a reaction strike.
I want to take just a minute and show you the baits that we're using today. This is now a Berkeley fin fisher. Berkeley redid the bait. They've added Fusion 19 hooks. The bait itself is pretty tremendous. It's you know, if you're a blade bait fan, you're gonna start to gravitate towards those better quality type blade baits. They seem to catch more fish, and this is one of those types of situations. When Berkeley redid this, they also introduced a bunch of new colors. So, you know, if you've got old ones that you like to use, great, but there are, just so you know, there's a lot of colors that are available. I like to try to use the middle hole on top at first. And almost always we'll use a snap with these. This is a little half ouncer, and they make them in quarter ouncers also, but this is a cute bait that catches a lot of fish late in the fall. Oh, John, you got one? Hey, man, that's a good one, John.
It's a little better one.
Told me, man. You can call for the nets for those. Well, you got it under control.
That's a better one.
I didn't even know you had them on.
It ate it too. Look at that blade. It's
Oh, man.
gone.
It's gone. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he just engulfed it.
Yeah,
too.
he hammered it.
Yeah, that's a good fish.
Nice little fish there.
Total Control, presented by Power Pole. 20 years of trust evolved from Total Boat Control.
I want to take just a minute to talk to you about a couple new baits that are really going to help you catch more fish. This is a new take on an old product. I think everybody realizes that the ribworm style bait is really deadly for walleyes. The one complaint that especially Corey Springle from The Next Bite had is that most of those types of baits were made with an end here that was too narrow. Many times when you threaded the jig on, it would split the head. So Corey worked with the team at Berkeley to basically widen that out and make it a little bit more jig friendly. The other thing that those guys did is they built some tremendous colors here, and they have a lot of different colors. I just, pick up different packs of colors, so it's really kind of cool. This is another bait that was designed just recently, just came out. It's called a Power Switch. John Hoyer basically helped Berkeley build this bait, and it's made for forward-facing sonar fanatics. The cool thing about this bait, the thing that I like, is you can actually hover the bait. Let's say you're dropping onto a suspended fish, a suspended walleye. I can hover the bait above the fish and at that fish's level, and hopefully he'll end up reacting to it and biting it right there. But if not, it is a jig inside of a plastic, so you can let it drop to the bottom. The fish many times will follow it down to the bottom and then bite it at that position. So really a cool little bait made to hover over the fish and for forward-facing sonar fanatics.
Today we're jigging blade baits. We're not using any live bait, just blades, and we're jigging them along. You cast them out and you let it sink down slack line to the bottom, and then I like to pull it a couple of feet and then let it fall back down to the bottom and let it fall slack line. I like a little bit of slack in my line when it falls and it kind of swims towards you. And you leave it sit, and you leave it sit for quite a while, and when you think you're going to pull on it again, leave it sit a little bit more, and that's when you feel the bite. And all you're going to feel is a little tick a lot of times on that slack line. What those walleyes are doing is they're following your bait through the cadence and they're pinning it on the bottom. And you feel a little bit of tick with your slack line, and that's when you want to set the hook and reel your fish in. There's one.
You got one, John?
Yep. This one seems a little better.
Does it?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that looks like a good one. I think I'll come down and get the net for you.
I don't know what it is, it's coming up. Oh, it's a nice walleye.
Ooh, I would say. Yeah, nice.
That's a better one.
Yeah, it's a great fish. There you go. Did he bite hard?
It did not. It just was weight. Huh. Sitting on the bottom, I went to pick up and there was weight there.
Wow. I got her.
Got it.
They are so fat. Every once in a while I see a big school of bait fish.
Right.
And they're just sitting there taking their time when they eat.
Yeah, I don't think they have to eat, do they? No. Look at that.
That is really big.
They're fat.
And here you go.
All right. Oh, look at that. You can get my... It's a handful. It's not super long, but it's a handful.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Good fish. When we started fishing today, the way that I fish blade baits most of the time was slightly different than what he was doing. I fish them more like a jig and essentially just cast them out. Line will go slack, I tighten up the slack, and then I just draw it forward towards me so I can feel the blade bait vibrate. But then I hold my rod up, just like if I'm jig fishing. I let the blade bait swim back to me until it hits the bottom. And the second it hits the bottom, then I just reel up the slack and give it another stroke. So what makes my cadence a little different than John's is that the bait itself is, it comes up off the bottom very similar, but then it swims back down to the bottom. And instead of sitting there for any length of time, it basically will, as soon as I hit the bottom, I stroke it again. So bites come in two positions. One is when the bait is about 2 inches from the bottom. A lot of times you'll feel that tick, hit the fish immediately, even if you're not quite sure it was a bite. And the other time is when you start your stroke, there'll be weight there, and that's a fish usually that pinned it to the bottom, and you'll be able to get them that way. So on any given day, you've got to try both, because one could be way better than the other. In this situation, they're both been fantastic.
I gotta get her.
Might need one.
Got it ready, just let me know.
Okay. A bit way out there.
Yeah, that's a lot of line out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. I thought he was going to be just a hair bigger.
Yeah, he fought good.
These blade baits, I love to fish them because they are about as close to fishing a jig as it comes, right? With an artificial bait, and the bites feel very similar.
They do, they do, yep.
Yep. So here you go, buddy.
The next bite is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly. Schaefer's Specialized Lubricant. Putting equipment first. Nitro Boats. Performance Fishing Boats. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Your adventure starts here. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. Lowrance. The ultimate fishing system. And Power Pole. Total boat control. Hot topics, leading information and tackling techniques to make you a better angler. Presented by Mercury.
So one of my favorite things to do is fish the rivers in the fall. And what I've figured out is that the later into the fall that you go, the fish get bigger and there's less competition on the water. The reason for this is number one, you know, a lot of people have put their boats away. In southern Wisconsin, yeah, we're getting into winter at that point, but we still have a lot of nice days and stretches of decent weather where you've got some really awesome fishing opportunities. So I've set this Grizzly up with a 60 horse 4-stroke. The nice thing about this 60 is it has plenty of power to push this boat around even with a couple guys in it. But more importantly, the 60 is a nice light motor. So if I get in a situation where I need to pull the boat across some ice, I know that sounds a little crazy, but it's a lightweight package that I can move around real easily. But when we're talking about winter fishing out of a boat, there's a couple things that you need to pay attention to. Number one, I check my lower unit lube on a regular basis. If you, for whatever reason, ingest water into your lower unit, that can freeze and crack your lower unit. So just simply by cracking that lower unit screw, if there's water in there, the first thing I'm going to see is water. So as long as I don't see water, I'm good to go. The other thing that's really important is in the bilge area of the boat. Keeping that area clean, keeping your bilge pump free of any debris that could clog it up. Now you have to remember, once again, it's winter and you are going to be dealing with freezing temperatures. So it is really important to make sure that your pumps and all the other pieces of equipment in the boat are free of any water, anything that could freeze. But I'll tell you what, think twice about parking it for the winter because there really is some great fishing opportunities for you.
Healthy northern Wisconsin walleyes are not the easiest thing to come by, but things have been changing.
I'm glad you told me that you were getting a few walleyes.
Yeah,
It's a fun day. We don't live that far apart, so
we don't.
we're going to have to get together and fish a little more.
Yep.
Targeting them with blade baits in November is a great way to get a lot of bites. Try different cadences each day to see what the walleyes prefer.
I got one. I don't think it's very big. Wait a minute. Maybe I was wrong.
All right, I'll get the net just in case. Maybe not little.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger.
I'll tell you, he's got some weight to him where he's coming in sideways. There's some pretty big tail wags now.
Ooh, nice fish, Gary.
Oh my, oh my.
I told you. I told you they were on here. That's a good walleye.
That's a good walleye on Lake Erie. Oh man. Just a little tick, you know. I know that's what he did. Must have bit and then ran right at me. All right, man, there it is. Man, he ate it too.
Oh yeah, look at that. No doubt about it, that fish wanted that.
Yep. Wow.
That's a nice
That
walleye.
is a good fish. Well, I think we'll get him back here pretty quick.
Yep.
There we go. There he goes.
And you feel a little bit of tick with your slack line, and that's when you want to set the hook and reel your fish in. Oh.
Oh, that was a good bite.
I heard it.
How'd I ever miss that fish?
Those are the ones that you miss.
Yeah. Execution, perfect. Results, imperfect. I don't know how they can bite a blade bait with 2 treble hooks in it
Right?
and not get hooked.
All right. Today we're fishing the basin areas of the lakes. This time of year, in a lot of the, let's start that over again.
All right, you just pause.
All right. I forgot where I was going. Does that happen?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, does it happen?
The Next Bite would like to thank John Carlson and Ross's Sports Shop in Phillips, Wisconsin. Ross's Sports Shop carries everything you need from muskie to walleye and has been serving northern Wisconsin for over 60 years. To book a trip with a professional guide in the Phillips, Wisconsin area, please call the shop at 715-339-3625. That's 715-339-3625.